Yes, Chair. I thought perhaps I must clarify the question that Honorable Smith is raising. Firstly, this committee is the only committee in Parliament that is both for the NA and the National Council of Provinces that receives petitions. And petitions can be received from anybody, an individual, an organization, and everybody can petition Parliament on a matter. Once, that is in terms of my knowledge, because we did discuss this thing at a time that Honorable Peter was the chairperson of the committee. It goes to the channels of Parliament up until it is brought to her attention. And she unfolds, as the chairperson of the committee, she unfolds a process that will lead us discussing a matter. If it means somebody or inviting people, the petitioners, and who are the complainants in most of the instances against an entity of government, we do so. We invite all of them, and we have done that in the past, where we invited a petitioner, and then we invite a municipality or a provincial government or even a national government, a minister or MEC or a mayor. They come forward to come and respond or engage with us on that petition. Or we do what we did last time. I was not part of the meeting, but we visited Limpopo because there was an issue of water and a tussle between district municipality. We do that so that let us find a way of making this committee efficient. Part of it is to say, I propose, is to say, let us meet maybe sometimes once or two times on a Friday. We know that we have more time to discuss whether it's a
members, I think there was a problem with the, I don't know what is it, because it kicked all of us, and we have to call the IT to assist us that we can rejoin the meeting. I've seen the Honorable Minister is in present now. And the members, I've seen that they are back. Honorable Sheikh is here, Honorable Bartlett is here. Welcome, Honorable Minister, to the Petitions and Executive Undertaking Committee. We welcome you. They did send us that an apology that you are still connected to the other meeting. You are going to join us while we're waiting for you, so the technology or the Zoom meeting kick us, all of us, but we try to rejoin now. Nkanyizo, are we still waiting for other members, or we can continue because the minister is here now? Okay, let me declare the meeting officially opened and welcome the minister and the department to the meeting that is scheduled for today. We know that today we invited the Minister of Transport to give us
recording stopped
on the undertaking made by the Minister of Transport during the sitting of the 19th May 2022, which the Minister made undertaking among of the
recording in progress.
45.3 billion or 59.3 of the allocation to SANRAL. So I think we will hand over to the minister to give us the report or to introduce the officials that are coming in with the minister to the meeting. Over to you, Minister Chikunga.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson of the Select Committee on Petitions and Executive Undertakings, Honorable Maleka. Honorable members of the committee, let me also acknowledge the DM, Honorable Lisa Mang, Director General of the Department of Transport, Advocate James Mlau, as well as the transport team. Let me start by apologizing for joining late. Like you have indicated, Chairperson, we are having and hosting and launching the BBBEE Transport Sector Council. And at the time when I was supposed to leave, there were questions from the floor that were directed to me, and I could therefore not leave before I respond to those questions. I sincerely apologize and profusely apologize for that. Chairperson, in the previous financial year, we came here before the Select Committee to put our budget proposal for consideration by Parliament. In those considerations, we made undertakings that we targeted for the financial year under review, which is 2022-2023. We are here today to account on the progress we have made on those undertakings. To that regard, there are instances where we made satisfactory progress. However, in others, we are lagging behind due to challenges encountered in the implementation. Chairperson and honorable members, our efforts, as well as we have also captured in our latest annual performance plan, will advance the priorities of the sixth administration while it concludes the work that it targeted to do within the medium term. This has been packaged in two stages. The first stage is to sustain the agenda that started in 2019 and was also presented as part of our undertakings in our previous budget vote speech. The second stage is that of accelerating performance recover performance, and also fast track those that we feel will turbocharge the economy and also address the material challenges for the sector and the country. Chairperson, we have responded in detail to 10 undertakings, and those responses have been sent to the committee. You will note that where applicable, we have set ourselves timelines to finalize on the actions for each undertaking. However, there are one or two areas where timelines hinge on critical engagements and consultations with other stakeholders. We will endeavor to bring all stakeholders on board to ensure that we finalize them within the 2023-2024 financial year. Obviously, in other actions, we will need your intervention so that we can reach our desired outcomes. Critically, Chairperson, the issue around the successful implementation of the Balazonke pothole repair program will be dependent on successful interventions of Cabinet and Parliament on our engagements with road authorities. These engagements, although laborious, are extremely contentious and will need careful consideration and navigation. In public transport, the support to the 3 cities that need to be readmitted into the IPTN and IPTM program is dependent on the cities themselves to address financial and performance challenges that are highlighted by National Treasury. Although we have commissioned a city support program, the onus is really on the city and cities themselves. Chairperson and honorable members, the relocation of illegal occupants on our rail reserves is a critical action for us. We are in consultation with the Department of Human Settlement, the Provincial Department of Transport in the Western Cape, as well as the City of Cape Town, to achieve, amongst others, land acquisition and provision of basic services and full rezoning of the land. While we consider those, the issue of funding for the process remains of critical importance. In conclusion, Chairperson, we commit to work with yourselves and all other critical stakeholders to advance these undertakings and finalize them within the timelines provided. At this moment, Chairperson, if you will allow, I will allow the CFO who is here just to take us through on matters pertaining to finances. Then he will be followed by the DG. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you, honorable members, honorable minister, honorable DM, DG and colleagues. I will be dealing with the commitment that we've made. The first one being that over the medium term, for 45.3 billion or 59% of the allocation to SANRAL is budgeted to upgrade and strengthen and refurbish the national road and non-toll road work. And in terms of the progress today, I want to report that the following have been achieved by the end of March 2023. Number one is the upgrading of the 38 kilometers of the R56 road linking Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal with a 1.2 billion is underway in the Matatiele municipality. And furthermore, the tender awarded to Downtouch investment on 31st of October 2022 for 3 years and 7 months. The outstanding undertaking there is that continuous engagement with local stakeholders to avoid any possible disruption of project. And there's also continuous project monitoring. And then furthermore, I want to talk to the strengthening and improvement and new capex. Out of the 140 kilometers road network for improvements and strengthening, including the new Cape KM SANRAL undertaken, achieved we have achieved 134.2 kilometers, with 2.8 billion allocated for the road R573 Moloto Road. Work is at various stages and progressing well in the both Mpumalanga and Limpopo section of the road. Only the rural road maintenance is happening on the Gauteng section, pending designs of the road. With a budget of 3.7 billion allocated for the N2 Wild Coast project, construction of the Nsikaba Bridge is well on schedule. The Mtentu Bridge tender was awarded in November 2022 and work commenced in March 2023, and work is progressing well. Of the 2.1 billion allocated for the GFIP, which is the Gauteng Freeway Improvement Project, tolling on this 201 kilometer of the network has been cancelled, with both Gauteng government and National Treasury agreeing to settle 30% and 70% respectively for the depth of the Gauteng GFIP project. Respectively, SANRAL has agreed to maintain the GFIP network, and a memorandum of understanding between the two parties is being finalized. In terms of routine maintenance, a total of 23,559 out of the targeted 262 was maintained due to the additional network transferred to SANRAL recently. On the issue of resurfacing, a total of 718.5 kilometers of the network has been resealed out of the annual target of 600. The refurbishment of non-toll road network, this work is in progress for the entire network, which is funded through the national fiscals. The second commitment is in regards to the funds have been earmarked to resource to finance the acquisition of the central route data repository that will provide a comprehensive and uniform overview of the state of South African provincial roads. And in terms of the progress to date, SANRAL Integrated Transport Information System has been adopted as the central data repository in July 2022. Since then, 53 out of 64 authorities have submitted their data to the department, and of which 17 submission was processed and 35 has been referred back for corrections. Then we have also collective efforts with the private sector and civil society. We embrace creative solutions to decisively tackle potholes that have become a defining character of our secondary and tertiary route work. In terms of the progress for this, the Valazonga Pothole Program was launched on the 8th of August 2022 for the standardization and uniformity in addressing access challenges of potholes on our route, and the following progress can be reported. SANRAL have made available a public app for road users to report potholes using cell phones to SANRAL, who will allocate queries to relevant authorities for appropriate intervention. Provinces participated in the launch and provided their plans up to the end of March 2023 with subsequent 6 months program review. The blacktop patching activities are being carried out by the internal maintenance teams in the respective provinces. The memorandum of understanding between SANRAL and provincial road authorities and SANRAL has been complied. There's also an enabling mechanism for the private sector participation are being pursued, and then the performance-based maintenance model legal aspects has been played with Treasury. Furthermore, amendments to the Division of Revenue Act gazetted on 6 December 2022 to allow borrowing against grants for provinces. Tax exemption applications submitted to SARS by SANRAL, once approved, other road authorities will be assisted. Engagement are also underway with insurance industry, TITA and CETA. In terms of this financial year, we will reprioritize our resources to establish a project management unit that will serve as an engineering and project management knowledge repository to assist provinces and municipalities in giving traction to projects funded through the conditional grants. The process to date, a call for application to serve as members of the BET Advisory Committee was advertised in various newspapers on 5 April 2023, closing on 24 April. 51 applications were received and a shortlisting process is underway. And in terms of the fifth commitment, we are improving efficiencies at the driver's licensing testing center. We will be driven by a new service delivery model that will not only improve the experience of the motorist, but will significantly reduce the turnaround time. The progress in terms of the new delivery model is underpinned by the shareholders' approval for implementation and procurement of a smart enrollment unit by DLCA. As at March 2023, the DLCA has finalized the appointment of a service provider, and the project team is finalizing the economically designed units to be deployed. We've also said we will work with the cities and assist them in complying with the National Treasury requirements to get back in the fold of the Public Transport Network grant. A state of readiness assessment was conducted jointly by National Treasury, and this was followed by letters to the city managers of the affected 3 cities. The department officials have been working closely with Musunduzi to support and advise them in their preparation to comply with the readmission criteria. Meetings held monthly, with last meeting on the 31st of March 2023. Follow-up letters have been sent to Buffalo City and Mbombela municipalities for their further response and further engagement on preparation to comply with the readmission criteria. In the 2023-24 PTNG Public Transport Network Grant Framework, reference the readmission criteria framework and the deadlines of submission of various plans in 2023. Cities have to show their commitment by developing various plans with their own funding. We also said the rollout of the IPTNs, which is Integrated Public Transport Network, will equally be strengthened by the establishment of an oversight mechanism under the leadership of the minister and the political principals of the relevant cities implementing the project. By the progress to date, bilateral engagement with mayors and oversight visits conducted in Rustenburg and Mangaung, an oversight visit attempted for Polokwane but rescheduled. Ministerial letter sent to eThekwini Mayor for engagement with MEC and Mayor we are waiting date for the meeting. Ministerial Mayor MEC IPTN Forum will still be launched in the current financial year. We further committed that capital transfers to the PRASA will increase from 12.6 billion in 2023 to 13.5 billion in the year 24-25. These funds will be channeled towards refurbishment of coaches, rolling stock fleet renewal program, signaling and other capital projects, which include security of the rail infrastructure. To date, capital allocation in the year 23-24 is now standing at 12.9 billion, and in the year 24-25 is standing at 13.5 billion. PRASA capital program has been approved as part of the PRASA corporate plan. Allocation conditions set for part of the PFMA section 38.1J in terms of the transfer payment. Written assurance received from PRASA in terms of Section 38 of the PFMA. We further said we must also appreciate that the Langa to Belleville via Sarapeta is currently affected by illegal occupation, and we are dealing with that. And we're looking forward to moving the occupiers very soon from the line. On this one, no progress to date on the illegal relocation of the illegal settlement. I can further say the relocation site is not yet secured, and that is the reason, and funding for the land acquisition, land preparation and relocation cost, and provision of basic services also not yet secured. Hence, that commitment we have not yet met. Finally, phase 2 of which entails the Nyanga to Krisani segment as well as the Nyanga to Captain's Club. This segment will take longer to recover due to the extent of the damage on the infrastructure. We anticipate to complete this recovery and resume the services by the end of December. In terms of this one also, no progress to date on the relocation of the illegal immigrants. Thank you, Honorable Minister and Honorable Chairperson. That is the progress to date of our undertakings to the committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I wasn't aware that the DG was connected. We're sitting together here with the CFO, and if the DG would want to add anything, can you allow Chairperson that the DG can add? Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Chairperson, thank you very much. Minister, Deputy Minister. No, Minister, it would have been a slight one, and that is how we tried to structure a report in view of the time. We had put both the financial and the performance. We had put both the financial and the performance on the report that the CFO was speaking to. I would therefore not want to hold the meeting up at all. Both the information is now presented. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.
Oh, my apology, Chair. I didn't know if I was not audible. Good afternoon, Chair and members. I don't know if I'm audible now.
Yes, you were audible. It would raise it that the presentation that has been presented by the CFO, you are covered with it because the site was to the point. So maybe the minister didn't get you. I don't.
No, that's thanks.
But
thanks,
Chair.
Chair.
We did hear everything that you've said.
Thanks, Chair. Thank you very much.
Okay, Minister, maybe there's anything left.
That is all, Chairperson, and thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Minister, and officials and the CFO for the presentation, the report back, and the progress achieved. We've seen that there is a progress in the upgrading and also the issues. We know that there was a challenge in Mloto Road, and there is a progress that is going well there. I don't know whether the members, there's anything that you want to comment on or questions that you raise from the report. Honorable Protestant, Honorable Tim.
Yes, Chairperson, thank you. Chairperson, thank you very much, and thank you very much for allowing me to join your meeting today. I do appreciate that. Chairperson, the Minister will remember in the House that we this week that we discussed the issue of sealing of roads. the actual professional sealing of roads, and when the issue about potholes arose in her report to this committee. Can we just get a sense of what sort of program the department has generally in terms of sealing the upper surface of roads in South Africa, to try and make sure that we prevent potholes? In other words, preventative measures for potholes, not just reactive measures for potholes. Thank you, Chairperson.
Honorable Sheikh.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chairperson. Let me also thank the Minister and the Department for the report. Chair, just with regard to the SANRAL Roads Data Repository, I just want clarity in terms of the report indicates that 53 out of 64 authorities submitted data. While there were challenges with that, but clearly there are 11 authorities that did not submit data. And for us to have a comprehensive and uniform overview of the state of South Africa's provincial roads, if they can maybe just give us an indication why 11 authorities did not, and who are these authorities for that matter. And then secondly, Chair, I know the relocation of illegal settlements can be quite a complex matter. But maybe if the Minister can give us an indication in terms of what are some of the challenges, especially in terms of from an intergovernmental type of perspective. Thanks, Chair. That's from my side.
Okay. Honorable Minister, there were only 2 hands that were up.
Very much, Chairperson. Maybe let me allow the DG to respond, then I will come after him.
Okay, thank you.
No, thank you very much, Minister. Honorable members, maybe my attempt at these questions. On the first question on what we're really doing in sealing roads in general, and not just potholes. It is important to start by indicating that if you look at the proportion of our sealed road network versus our general gravel road network, you would realize 2 things. One is that 80% of our sealed road network, and if you look at the conditions of the road, is one out of its design life in the main. So in fact, the potholes aren't so much just potholes, they are a sign of what has happened underneath. And so what we do need to do, even as we fix potholes, is to make the correct decision on whether we need to rehabilitate the roads or not. And so that is really what we're doing to recalibrate our own program, to focus more on road maintenance. Secondly, there is a general problem about what we're focusing on, because our sealed road network is proportionally very small compared to our road network. So a lot of our roads that are trafficable are in fact gravel roads. And generally the engineering standard is that if you have traffic in the order of 300 vehicles per day, it is in fact economical to seal that road. So there is work, honorable members, being done, and in fact is being rolled out, if I may speak to the question of the honorable member's question, where our agencies in partnership with the department is testing certain additives to see if we're able to do an in situ sealing of roads. In other words, we don't have to import gravel, we work with the material that's there. Now that study is still being placed down on trial as we speak, and we're hoping that in the foreseeable while we'll be able to report back to our relevant committee on how this is performing. Our big task, and we did in rolling out the PRMG have a trial with certain but not all roads authorities. And so in that sense, because we're giving them money, we were able to command that they should put in money. But what is becoming clear is that we don't have an intergovernmental ability to force them to give us information. So you'd see that a lot of information we're missing is in the roads authority that are actually metros. So when you don't know that information, you are a bit weakened. But it's work that we're discussing with our National Treasury so that we actually roll out conditions in our DORA that will enable us to have more effective control. I think those would really be my responses, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Titi. And I don't know whether the minister wants to add something. I think that we are behind our time. We left with 5 minutes, but thank you for your response and the presentation that has been made. And honorable members, you must also take note that today, this meeting, the minister was here because of the undertaking that was made in May 2022 sitting, not other relevant questions maybe that were raised on Tuesday. I want to hand over to you, Minister, if there is anything that you want to raise or add on what they said. Honorable Minister, I think maybe it's the challenge of the network.
Oh, I'm sorry,
okay.
Chair. I'm speaking to myself. My apologies for that. On the question related to relocation of people from the rail reserves, I just want to say, Chairperson, again, that as the Department of Transport, together with PRASA, that is definitely not our competence. It's not our mandate. The Department of Human Settlement, National, Province, as well as the city of Cape Town, are the ones who must assist us so that we have a space, a land to relocate those people. PRASA has actually said that even if it is just temporary, they will be happy to do that so that we continue with our work, that of refurbishing the infrastructure in the central line, so that we can then bring back the trains onto that line. The challenge, Chairperson, and the fears that we have is that the delay in infrastructure build is very expensive. So we are again saying this, Chairperson, in the understanding that in the NCOP, we do have provincial representatives. If they can also assist us so that we don't end up paying more money or not being able to bring back the most needed type of public transport to which is trains, simply because at the time we may not have enough cash because of cost escalation. So we're ready, but all that we can't do is to relocate if we are not given the land to which those people should go. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Minister. And Honorable Badenos, I don't think I will allow you now because we've already our time it's already finished, and I did give you opportunity to raise questions, and they've already responded. If there is anything that you need to raise now because of our time and the plenaries that are sitting at the National Assembly, the minister must be part of that plenary. There are questions for the president and they need to log in there and attend in physically. We can't keep them waiting because it's already 2. I want to, if you can send that question in writing, if there is anything that you want to ask from the minister now. I want to thank you, Minister, DG, the DDG and the PLO and the honorable members for the time, and especially the minister, you managed to attend this meeting while you were busy with the other meeting. We appreciate that you did honor our invite and come back to do the progress report for what has been done on the undertaking that we made on May 2022. We appreciate and want to declare the meeting closed.
Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you, Chairperson.